I'm Weldy Feazell, the director of P3, which is Partnering for Parker's Progress, our urban renewal authority. And this will just go over some of the projects we're doing and how we've utilized the URA TIP funds that we get across Parker. Starting with local businesses and property owners. So one of our programs that we really started in earnest, it had some fledgling years before that came and went, was our facade and landscape improvement program. This is targeted to businesses and property owners. Either can apply for the program. And its purpose was really to give some capital assistance to improving the exterior of the facilities. It's a one-to-one match. I have a short video that'll explain this and kind of how it can be utilized. I think it's important that in Parker, we treat this as an annual program. So it's calendar year. So if you apply in 2024, you're eligible to apply again in 2025. So we have multiple businesses that have larger visions and will break up the project over multiple years to take advantage of it. And it makes a difference. Simple qualifications must be in an urban renewal area. That's the one that is probably for our businesses the most difficult to discern. So we often have to help businesses out with are you in or out. We do a January and a June grant cycle. We need the funds to be utilized in one calendar year, so it gives them time to get the project actually complete. That doesn't mean that if there's not some unforeseen hardship, we won't let them extend it as a new application the following year. But for the most part, we see January being typical projects of signs, exterior painting projects, and then June tends to be more of those landscaping projects that we get to come in. We have a whole bunch of eligible projects. There's a lot on here. Public art is something we've recently added to the list to help beautify the community. We got a lot of people wanted murals, but they're expensive. So it was like, well, URA board, do we want to add this as an eligible item? And they were all for it. So typically it's any sort of improvements that are on the exterior, not fees, not equipment, not interior improvements. Again, projects that will impact and hopefully bring up those property taxes in the area. So here's our quick little video that we put out publicly to the businesses to kind of explain the program.
Are you a business owner in Parker, Colorado? Is your business located in one of Parker's 3 urban renewal areas? Have you noticed some exterior elements on your business that could use a bit of a facelift? Maybe the paint of your building could use a touch-up, or some new foliage or landscaping might look nice, or improved exterior lighting or a new sign could help guests find your entrance. We've got good news. These are all projects that P3's Facade and Landscaping Improvement Program, also called FLIP, can help you fund. But that's not all. FLIP will also help improve and fund new paint job, new signage, lighting, fencing, landscaping, replacement doors, new awnings, new windows, sidewalk improvements, and more. P3 is Parker's urban renewal authority that reinvests money in Parker's 3 urban renewal areas. With FLIP, businesses can get one-to-one matching funds up to $6,250 per project to make improvements to the exterior of their business. Did you know that some of your neighbors' projects might have been funded by FLIP? Take the Montgomery House, for example. The new deck and ramp were FLIP projects. Or Parker's Animal Hospital. They've used FLIP funds for a new sign and landscaping improvements. Purgatory Cellars even used FLIP to help fund their brand new patio. People sipping Purgatory's award-winning wine in the sun can attest to this being a worthy project. Studies show that exterior improvements to a building can help draw customers, creating further investment in your business and in your community. That's why we at P3 are here to help. We have an online application but are always open to answer any questions you may have. Flip applications are open January 1st to January 31st and June 1st to June 30th each year. Projects should be completed in the calendar year they are applied for in. Ready to apply? You can find the application, example projects, eligibility requirements, and more at p3parker.com/flip. Have questions? We're always here to help. Give us a call at 303-805-3136.
So it is a cool video, but it is definitely one of the easiest ways found to communicate with your businesses is through these short videos. They've gotten easier and easier to produce. So we did that, and that made a huge difference. So I just want to go through some of the impact this program has had on the town. Again, it is small dollars. I think we budget $50,000 a year for this. So it's a small program, and every year is a little bit different depending on kind of how businesses are feeling. 2020 was not a great year. Had very few projects. 2021 was a huge year. And then it leveled off. In 2024, we've had a really big year. So for all the projects that have been through the FLIP program in the last 4 years, have been totaled about $575,000. Of that, the businesses put in $361,000, and then we put in $214,000. So oftentimes you're seeing the projects, especially now, are bigger than the one-to-one match, bigger than that kind of $12,500 project. Some are getting really big, and they're just taking everything they can for help. Sometimes I think they're using that money they need to get a small loan, kind of as that down payment, which we're totally fine with. It is a reimbursement program, so we do need the project paid for. Will be reimbursed quickly back. It does take some coordination with our internal town departments, making sure community development is getting, and if there's any building permits needed, that they're getting through that process very quickly, to the point where the town then created a site plan adjustment, which was staff approved and had like a 3-day turnaround so that we could get these done. So it's helped improve some of the town processes for very minor adjustments. They don't have to go through this huge expensive site plan approval. And then they took away the fees for an adjustment as well. So, and then our cultural art and public art department is our huge partner. We have started investing $75,000 in our Parker Central area, our downtown area, to our public art fund. Prior to that, we did several purchases. Tatanka Ska, the white buffalo, is my absolute favorite. He looks so beautiful in O'Brien Park. And then we did the Spirit of Renewal, which is the one down at the bottom. Also here on the other side of O'Brien Park. And she is absolutely stunning when you're standing kind of the mountains kind of framed through the butterflies she has there. We started doing utility box wraps in our downtown, so we don't ugly. And then private development, we're seeing a lot more go to public art. Our My Main Street project, which I'll show you, kind of a large 10+ year project, as Kat had mentioned, sometimes they're very long, have now art components required with them. But our private developments are starting to do it on their own. We ask and they say, okay. So, I mean, it's worth asking, right? We actually had a 7-Eleven paint a beautiful mural on their building. We had no idea it was coming. They just did it. So
that's great.
Another way is these are also bigger, longer term projects. Some of our capital projects. I know this is a lot. Most of these are focused in downtown. Lots of sidewalk, public safety improvements, lighting, widening of sidewalks, adding lighting where there hasn't been some before. There are some vehicular safety improvements, Main Street 20-mile intersection, for an example, it was kind of a mess, widening of Dransfeld. And then there was a lot done in our downtown area to improve the roadway, as well as making sure we're taking care of our projects. There's beautiful pictures on all of them. O'Brien Park Southern Edge was probably my favorite. It's right along Main Street. It was ugly. It had a wrought iron fence. It looked like, am I going to like some like prison or am I going to a park? So I came in and I said, can you please do this project? Now it's beautiful. If you ever drive downtown, you'll notice it's a meandering sidewalk with metal walls instead of a fence, and cement seat walls, and a huge new piece of public art that is in there too. Oh, I don't know. Some of these are in here and I'm sorry for that. So placemaking, this is our big project. So these are 5 parcels in our downtown that were at one point owned by the town or the Urban Renewal Authority for various reasons. Either there was a plan to put the library somewhere else, as in D&E, it was supposed to be with the Pay Center, didn't happen there. So then we put the library next to C and had this whole leftover parcel. So just various reasons why there was excess land. What it resulted in is the town or the Urban Renewal Authority was the largest property owner of vacant land in our downtown, not doing anything with that land. Not sure what to do with it. And it took me over 10 years to find the right partner to help us do this. We went through several iterations with developers and really making sure the town was getting what they wanted out of this development. Not necessarily always what the developers wanted to develop, was kind of a push. But luckily we partnered with Confluence Company, who did tons of great work down in Castle Rock with a lot of their new downtown. And we're starting to get underway. So this is what these sites will look like kind of in the future. Down at the very south is our Cultural Arts Center, is kind of the building that's at askew. Right next to it is going to be a public parking structure to replace the surface parking that was there for our art center. That public parking structure was funded by the Urban Renewal. We funded $13 million parking structure. Urban Renewal put in $10.1 million into that. And we had saved those funds knowing a public structure was going to be needed over the better part of a decade. And then just to the north, kind of long north-south building, that is a mixed use, multi-family building, so ground floor retail, apartments above. Both of those should be breaking ground in the next couple months. So then the rest will start to follow. These are just some prettier images of what kind of the aerial view will look like with the new development, and really activating our downtown in areas that kind of this whole eastern section. You have town hall, you have library, you have the art center, and then some housing in there. It was all very civic oriented. So for shopping, dining, spending money downtown, nothing was happening on this block. So really extending our downtown and making it a more walkable environment that people want to hang out in, while maintaining Parker's downtown character. It's not always easy. There will be a new and an old down kind of feel to downtown, but really making sure people are utilizing all of downtown. And I think that's it for me.
Awesome, thank you.